The California section of the Pacific Crest Overland route passes through the beautiful northern Sierras with high forest roads, volcanoes, and ancient lava tubes. We'd been traveling north on the route for 3 days and were camped in the warm and sunny Plumas National Forest, unaware of how quickly the conditions would change the next day. This morning we're waking up in Plumas National Forest. We're about an hour northwest of Reno. We've got to get packed up. It's going to take a little bit of time because we've got our bug tent out because we were working this morning in that. And then we're going to continue heading kind of northwestish along the Pacific Crest Trail. One of the things I noticed about the Pacific Crest Trail is there are quite a lot of paved roads, especially in this area. We're actually following a paved road around the back of the lake behind me, and while we're driving it, I noticed that there was a fire tower up here, so I thought we'd come up and check out the view, and I think it was worth it. Great views around here. I walked up to the fire tower to check it out, and I was invited in and shown around.
Okay, basically, so this is an Osborne firefinder. So if you do happen to spot a fire, what you do is this rotates the azimuth, and so you look through this slot right here, okay, and there's a horsehair right there, and so you'll just basically line this up on your fire, okay, and then this gives you your bearing right here, okay. So I would call it in and say I've got a smoke report. It's on bearing 250 from this station, and then you look at where it is in relation distance wise, and you get on the topographical maps and you figure out, well, if it's the second peak over whatever, you can look on this map right here and do that same thing, and so you can pinpoint it somewhere. It's going to be right on this line, and so once you find the point there, then you can say, okay, each one of these little lines, there's the station where we are, and so each one of these lines is a mile. So I could say, okay, it's on a bearing of whatever, and it's 6 miles out.
Yeah.
Okay, and then another station somewhere else will do exactly the same thing, and so then they can triangulate to send the troops.
From the fire tower, we continued north, and after a short drive, we noticed the burned trees from last year's Dixie fire. The fire was California's largest single fire, burning close to 1 million acres of forest and well over 1,000 structures. When the blaze started, things were initially going well. Tankers had it contained, and a helicopter was able to use the nearby river to douse it with water. That is, until a drone showed up, grounding all aircraft. If you see a fire, keep your drone on the ground. It's possible that this enormous destruction could have been prevented if it wasn't for that one person. We made it to Lassen Volcanic National Park, and basically the entire way we're driving through the burned forest from the Dixie fire, and it's just incredible how much has been burned. Even up here, over 2/3 of the park have been burned, and as a result the road through the park is closed. We're just hiking up a little way just to see some of the views up here, and then we're gonna have to go around the whole park and try and find a place to camp. One of the issues we're having is I really don't want to camp in a burned area. You know, not only is it not very pretty, but you also run the risk of trees falling, especially with, you know, it's a little bit windy today. So we're gonna hike around, look around, and then head out to camp. This seems like a good spot to camp, up here in the mountains, just next to a lake. Nice little lake here. Usually that means it's buggy as well, although so far it hasn't been too bad. I think there's just enough of a breeze to keep them away. We walk out here. It's like, I guess it's a mixture between a meadow and a lake. What I said about the mosquitoes was a lie. They are bad. But I've got this, it goes over the hood, so they can't get in here. In fact, the only thing they can get is my hand. Shortly after coming out onto paved roads, we passed a sign that said Subway Cave. Thinking that it sounded cool, we turned around to check it out. We were not disappointed. The cave is an enormous lava tube with smooth, rounded walls and perfectly flat floors. A lot like a subway. It's well worth a stop if you're in the area, but make sure you bring a flashlight. After a day on pavement, we finally make it to some unpaved roads, and I come across this sign. So, guess we're gonna go around and find another way. Alright, we're back on track. This road behind me is the one that heads out to the 3-ton bridge, and obviously I can't take a 3-ton bridge for the Tundra. It probably weighs 3 tons completely empty, completely dry. With all the extra stuff I've strapped onto it, I'd assume I'm way over. I probably need to get it weighed. But we were able to get around thanks to Onyx. There was one single road that came around and met up here with the one that we're supposed to be on. And you can see the road we're supposed to be on there is the green one, and the road we took to come around is marked just going around there. Basically followed the highway for a bit and then took this single trail out here. And Onyx is the sponsor of today's video. Onyx Off-Road is an app you can use on your iPhone like I am, or an Android, or on a computer for route planning. and it's basically a great way to find thousands and thousands of trails across the US. There was actually more than 500,000 curated trails on there that you can choose. My particular favorite ones are the blue ones. When you tap on those, you get a bunch of information. So you got things like difficulty, time taken to travel that trail, and things like pictures, other information you need to know. So a great way to find trails. If you want to check it out, I will put a link in the description so you can go see that. As we're driving up this road, we keep seeing like little caves off to the side of the road, big holes in the ground, lots of lava flows, and then this one's signposted, so I figured we'd take a look. Unfortunately, the weather is, I guess it's preparing us for the Pacific Northwest. We're very close to the Oregon border. It's just been kind of raining and drizzling all day. But that was cool. We're heading back to the truck before we get soaked all the way through. But I really enjoy seeing, and the cave was cool, but I love seeing the rocks where you can kind of see where they've been oozing. And I think we're going to see more of it because we're quite close to Lava Beds National Monument. I think we're going to end up camping somewhere up there. Back on the road, we started passing patches of snow. The higher we climbed, the bigger the patches got, until we came across an enormous section with no end in sight. Well, we didn't make it quite as far as I thought we would before we hit impassable snow. So the trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, continues along that road, and there's just thick, wet snow that way. And I'm not going to drive through it, especially since the trail climbs several hundred feet more over the hill before heading over down into the lava flows. Instead, we're going to try this road. It looks as though a lot of the tire tracks go this way, and this is signposted as going towards Highway 24, and it looks as though it goes downhill on the map. So we'll try this way. If this doesn't work out, it is a long way to backtrack, so I really hope it does. There were a few deeper patches of snow, but going downhill helped me get through them easily. A couple of miles in, I rounded a corner to find two vehicles stuck in a particularly deep drift. The small Jeep had tried to make it through, not wanting to turn around and backtrack, and had buried itself. Shortly after, the Ford had come across them and tried to get close enough to pull them out with a short chain. The Jeep came out easily, but the heavy truck took a lot more effort.
Is that us moving?
Yeah, we're moving. As we were packing up, it started to hail, making things even more unpleasant. I wasn't dressed for the weather. I had boots and waterproof pants in the truck, but in my hurry to help out, I hadn't put them on. Reflecting back on it now, I should have taken a couple of minutes to keep myself dry. Clothes can take a really long time to dry while you're out camping. The snow was wet and slick, but I made it through and waited for them on the other side. Well, it's a good thing we chose to come this way because we came across a couple of guys just completely stuck in the snow here. Apparently they've been here for 2 hours before we came down. They said going back that way is the easy way to go, but I had to winch them through before they could go back down. So I'm going to hang around and they're going to follow me out. I made it through on the way down, but it's looking as though the little Jeep just got stuck. So we may be winching again. But we all made it out. That was added to the adventure for sure. Soaked through to the skin. You know, it's been raining heavily, a little bit of hail, but all three of us are through now and we're heading back down. They've told me there are a couple more patches as we go, but nothing bad. So I just said I'd follow them, that way if anything does happen, the three of us are sticking together, we can get them out. But now we need to find somewhere to camp. Like I say, I'm soaked through. I am very tempted to just see if I can find a campground with some laundry and just put all my stuff through the dryer. Well, this will do nicely. It couldn't have come at a better time. Basically, as soon as we left the national forest, the rain stopped, the sun came out, and there was this campground off to the right hand side of the road. So we stopped. It was $20. Basically get a field here, but it means we can set up everything in the sun. I can get the inside of the vehicle soaked from where I was leaning out the window while winching. My jackets are soaked. I need to get changed, and they have a dryer as well just over the road, so I can go put everything in there to dry and kind of reset, ready for tomorrow. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button, because you're not going to want to miss the next episode where we head into Oregon.